Hey everyone, welcome back to Home Automation. Today we're taking this IP67 rated Tiandy camera and record when there is motion. Save it to a network storage using Home Assistant and Node-RED. It'll be neatly packaged, labeled and time-stamped so it can easily be sent off to the neighborhood WhatsApp group. Let's get going. We'll add a camera with ONVIF. We'll create a storage folder for clips, then build a tiny Node-RED flow that rate limits the events and records a clip with a timestamp file name. Prereqs: Home Assistant installed, Node-RED installed, a camera with ONVIF. Most do. The first thing we're going to do is set up our storage. So we go into Settings, System, Storage. I've already added it here, but basically what we do is we select Add, we give it a name, VideoFeed Test. It's going to be Media, and then we give it the IP address for our NAS, and then we select Samba, that's where I've set it up, and then we specify the share that we've set up, and I'm using Open Media Vault. It seems good enough, running off the Raspberry Pi, and I've just got a USB drive connected to it, and it's doing its job. Obviously, there are far better solutions than that. You put the username and password that you've set up on your Media Vault, and then you connect. Once you have that, we can move on to the next step. Okay, so I've linked my camera up. It's a PoE camera, so the Ethernet cable is in. Now we need to go to our router and find the IP address. If you're like me and have a hell of a lot of IoT devices on your network, I'd definitely consider going with Ubiquiti. It's a side thing, but it really is a great tool to stabilize your network. It's a great investment. Okay, so I'm going to go here. Now see, it's a wired device. And there's our camera. So let's grab that IP address. We put it in here to the browser. Wait for it to come up. I've already configured this. So the default password is admin. But I've changed it, and I do recommend changing your password and never leaving anything as default. Log in. So this is sitting in my office looking at our driveway. If I go to configuration, network, advanced set, access platform, just make sure that that is enabled, ONVIF. Okay, and save that. So now that we know the IP address, we have a logon, and we know that ONVIF is enabled. We go to Home Assistant. In Home Assistant, we go to Device and Services. We go Add Integrations. The Home Assistant guys have really made this easy. It used to be a lot more difficult, but anyway, so we go here. We'll go do a quick search. Just give this a second. All right, here's our camera. We'll go submit. We'll give this a more friendly name. Say Office Driveway Camera. Port 80, that is our IP address. Admin and the password. Okay, so just give it a name and where it's located. So it's in my office. Thank you for that. And skip and finish. It is so unbelievably easy these days, and it really does save time and make life a lot easier. Okay, so there's one sensor we're going to look at and the camera. We need to get those names. So we go in here, click there. We grab that binary sensor name, the motion, and we grab the camera name. Right? Okay, and that part is done. Unbelievably simple. So let's move on to Node-RED. Okay, Node Red, my absolute favorite part of Home Assistant. It's an extremely powerful tool, takes quite a bit of time to learn. And even now, every day I'm learning something new, trying new different things. And I'm pretty sure there are a few out there that know a lot more than I do. So if you do actually have any advice or see anything I can do better, please let me know. Right, so the first thing with this flow is I've input an inject node. This is to run tests. So instead of waiting for motion to trigger to test, I can just click this and it triggers the flow. Now I have tried to get the staff to run in front of the camera. So there's always motion in front of the camera. But now amazingly, they found work to do. Talking about motion, the state node. Here I've set up camera motion from the camera. The switch node, this is very simple. I've just said if it's equal to on. So every time there's a motion, it will pass through the switch. Next we have cooldown. It's rate limited for all messages and one message for every minute. This means it will only allow one message to pass through every minute, and therefore only creating one video every minute. Okay, let's move on. Now for a function node, set file name and data. Yeah, we just set a constant for the camera, a constant for the path, and a constant file name, which is the path, the camera description. We should actually make this driveway office. Okay, then the message payload will be the entity ID, camera, the file name, and the duration. I've made this 60 seconds. You can make this whatever you like. And then it just return message. Simple, one would think. From here, I do have a debug node. These things are awesome. If you're ever troubleshooting issues and you want to see what's coming out of a node, these things are invaluable. They'll help you with your flows. I did this because I was getting some problems here. I forgot to remove it, so I'm just going to delete it now. Okay. Then we go into a state node. Sun. What we're checking here is above or below horizon. Basically to determine, are we going to turn on the outside light or aren't we? So I've set above horizon, so the output on the top will be straight to recording. If it's false, in other words, below horizon, it'll first go turn on the light outside, and then it'll go to recording. Light make image better. You can build in delays, but obviously that is not relevant here. And that's about it. Sun is default in Home Assistant, and it works on your location. All right, let's move on. Next, we have an action node. If it's nighttime or below horizon, we go to an action node, and we switch on the driveway light. Simple, straightforward. Then we go to delay node. We delay for 5 minutes. And then we turn the driveway light off. So at the same time we go into the delay, we also go into the recording, as well as if it's daytime, we go into this recording, which is an action node. Okay, we've arrived at the final node of the flow. So let's go have a look. This is an action node. The action is camera record, and we're recording from our camera, so just the camera ID. For the data we specify the entity ID, the file name, which is a path, followed by a driveway office, and then a timestamp. Just so it's easy to find, and you know what time things happened. Duration was set to 20 seconds, but I want to change it to 60 seconds. Setting this value depends on how much disk space you have available, how often this is triggered. Just work it out. So I like 60 seconds, 20 seconds normally sufficient. Loopback is the time before motion is detected. So cameras are continuously recording, and this will say, go back 2 seconds before motion and start from there to record. So essentially what you get here is a 58-second recording. Okay. I think we're done there. Are we? Let's run a quick test. Trigger. You can see it sending. As the message payload hits the last node, a single tier rolls down its debug panel. Mission accomplished. So it turns out someone didn't deploy the changes for the file name, so it was keeping the Tiandy. No worries. So let's go see what we got. As I manually triggered this, obviously nothing's happening. Also it's late at night, and nothing interesting is happening. But yeah, we know it works. When it comes to cleaning up the file, I'm just going to give you a little bit of background to what I've tried. I did try to do it through Node-RED. I got it to work, but it was a bit clunky. I wasn't happy with it. So I thought, well, rather just go to Open Media Vault and do everything there. Less moving parts, far better solution. So, first thing we need to do is go to your storage, go to your folders, and we need to grab that absolute path. Then we go to System, go to Schedule Tasks. I've already created it. I've set it to hourly, but generally you would set this to daily. You set the user that has access to your Media Vault, full access. And in command, you put the following. Find your absolute path minus type F minus MMIN. And then we're going to reduce this because I'm working with a very small sample size over only a couple of days. I've had to keep on reducing this. So we're going to reduce this to say the last 600 minutes. We print, delete. And then we can save that. Confirm. Okay. Just going to quickly check how many items. We have 138 items in my Media Vault. Let's make sure, let's hope this works. Execute. And there we go. Deleted a whole lot of files. Close that. See. And we're down to 15 files. So that's the cleanup process. I'll leave all this information in the description below. So that will make your life easier so you don't have to go through everything I went through to get all this working. All right, let's move on. That's motion triggered recording using Home Assistant with Node-RED and saving directly to your NAS. Just a note, I do recommend using an AI camera instead of a normal motion camera. Otherwise, you could be recording a lot of moving trees. If this video helped, please like, and if you haven't already, please subscribe. It really does help the channel out. And if you have any ideas on how to improve this flow, please drop a comment below. Thanks everyone. This is Jason from Home Automation, and I'll see you in the next one.